What's up, everybody, and welcome on back to another episode of the My Side of Things podcast. This is now episode 7. I'm your host, as always, Ash. We got a whole lot of things on the docket to get to today, including talking about the Wrestlemania stories and just what is the best story going into Wrestlemania right now. We're going to be rating each and every one of these instead of doing the Wrestlemania 41 predictions, because of the fact that they're already kind of telling us what all the matches are going to be. So there's not really much of a point to be predicting like 4 or 5 matches. We're also going to be talking about a question that was actually posed on my live. Which wrestler from a tag team right now would have the best solo career if their stable was broken up today? We got the men's and the women's side for that. Then we're going to be talking about Mariah and her contract year. Going to be a pretty heated discussion, I can tell you that right now. We're also going to be talking about Swerve, Strickland, and his recent comments on his previous WWE run that have been, sparking the web and just been scorching it ablaze. And then we're going to end things off with, who is more likely, Mercedes Moné to break Jade Cargill's record or Athena to get a 1,000-day run? But let's go ahead and start off with the WWE WrestleMania 41 storylines heading into it, rating every one of the storylines heading into WrestleMania. Let's go ahead and start off with that, though, shall we? All right, so when it comes to these WrestleMania storylines, I do want to make this clear that I'm only doing the ones that are solidified. So not the potential of Braun versus Dom versus Penta versus Finn. Too much there. We don't really know what's going to be happening. If Finn's going to turn on Dom, if Dom's going to turn on Finn. We don't really know what's going to happen with Penta. If he's going to actually join Judgment Day. We don't know what's going to be happening with Braun. So we don't really know what's going to be happening and all this stuff. Lyra versus Becky. We don't even know that's going to be happening. We assume it's going to happen. It might be Lyra versus Bayley now. It might be Lyra versus Roxanne. It might be Lyra versus Bayley and Roxanne. It might be Lyra versus Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? So that one I'm not going to talk about. Same thing with LA Knight. Same thing with Chelsea Green. Same thing with any of the tag teams, even though New Day have said they wanted to get a match at WrestleMania. Again, we don't know any of these dang matches are going to be happening. We just know they're likely going to be happening at WrestleMania. But the 8 that I have are all solidified. These are already said to be at WrestleMania. There's graphic cards and all that stuff for them. So number 8, the worst storyline of these 8, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair. The storyline is absolute hot dog water. You did not need to do this triple threat this way. I felt like we forced the heck out of it. You had Rhea and Bianca getting into it when Rhea and Io were facing. Why did we not just call the match there? Call for the DQ win. Io Sky wins, but she doesn't win the belt. That causes Io Sky to get upset with Bianca. Rhea Ripley would be upset with Bianca, but Io Sky would also be upset with Rhea Ripley as well because she had the history of Rhea Ripley getting involved in her last match. So now she's gonna snap and go off on her. Rhea Ripley's gonna snap and go off on her because obviously she's going off on her. So you got to go off somebody that's going off on you. This allows for Rhea and Io to go into WrestleMania being both technically heels. We also have Bianca Belair, who is the face, and that way, if Bianca Belair does beat either Io Sky or Rhea Ripley, if Bianca Belair pins Io Sky or Rhea Ripley, it wouldn't be as bad because I do believe that Io Sky is probably going to lose, and it's going to suck if she does lose, even though I do want Bianca Belair to win, and I don't really mind a transitional champion. I just feel like this probably isn't the best way to do the whole transitional champion thing. So it does kind of like, why would you do this with Io? But if you had Rhea retaining the belt against Io, then you have Bianca Belair pinning Io Sky or potentially pinning Rhea Ripley, then it's not as bad because then you could run Bianca versus Io at Backlash. And there is always the potential that you could have Bianca beat Rhea Ripley, or you could have Io beat Rhea Ripley in that, or pin, not beat. Could have Bianca pin Rhea or Io pin Rhea. That would be set up to Io versus Bianca at Backlash with Io going in as a champion. There is that potential. But man, we have just done so many different ways to get into this dang match. Now we're having Rhea Ripley steal contracts and then getting a rematch, even though that's, because I guess that's what she's wanted the entire time, but she's been doing all this stuff, and Adam Pearce has been trying to get her, and it's just, oh my gosh, man. Now they're having a dang rematch with Bianca Belair as a special guest referee for no dang reason, because it's just, oh man, this storyline is frustrating. I'm sorry, this storyline is so frustrating. It's so forced. I feel like there were like 10 other ways that we could have went about this that were all just so much easier. We did not need this to happen. Oh my gosh. Heck, we didn't even need Rhea Ripley to get involved in the Liv Morgan Io Sky match. I don't know why the heck we had that happen. So it's just, oh man, this storyline is a whole mess. I love the thought of getting Bianca versus Io versus Rhea. It's a pretty cool match because they're 3 of your biggest women, but I'm going to be honest, Rhea did not need to be in this match either. Bianca and Io would have been absolute fire in this match. Adding Rhea Ripley does nothing for it other than give us a Bianca versus Rhea standoff or face off, and then they're going to be going at each other. They'll probably have Io shine as well because of the fact that Bianca and Rhea are going to be so focused on each other. That's probably what's going to cost Io. I mean, that's probably what's going to have Io Sky win the match. She's going to be able to probably pin Rhea Ripley, and then she will likely face Io versus, it'll likely be Io versus Bianca at Backlash, where Bianca likely will win. It just sucks that Bianca's probably going to lose her WrestleMania streak, because I would like to see her actually hold that for a few years so that when somebody does beat her, it's like a new up-and-coming talent, or it's somebody that really, really deserves this win because they are going to become like a big star. I would love to see that instead of just, Io Sky or Rhea Ripley being the ones to actually get the win, because neither of them need to beat her undefeated streak. It's the same thing with Undertaker when he lost his undefeated streak. It was against Brock Lesnar. It just didn't really feel that good in my opinion. So, yeah, no. But number 7, I have Jey Uso versus Gunther. This feud started off absolutely horrible. This was such a bad feud, but they have cleaned it up this past Monday by adding Jimmy Uso to it, by having Jimmy basically call out Jey Uso and say that he's choking under pressure and all that stuff, which now cleans up a lot of things that have been happening with Jey constantly getting attacked by Gunther and not realizing that he's going to be attacking him from behind. Then you have Jey Uso not being able to get over the ropes, doing a weird crossbody spear, then not being able to do a spear on Gunther. So I do like the addition of Jimmy Uso. It's actually made the storyline a whole lot better. If it was an F before, it's definitely like a C+ storyline now. I will say, though, because of the fact that the first couple of weeks were just so bad, in my opinion, that's where it's just like, it's just like, no, this storyline, I can't give it anything higher than number 7's position. It would just be unfair to the other storylines above it. But with the addition of Jimmy Uso, I do believe that this Jey versus Gunther storyline is going to be so much better going into WrestleMania now, to the point where it actually might get to main event WrestleMania. But it's also pretty interesting because both Jey and Seth Rollins have basically come out and said that they don't care about getting the main event of WrestleMania. They just want to, be on the card, which kind of makes me wonder if they are really going to be having Rhea versus Bianca versus Io be the main event. I would have loved to see that, but I just feel like Jey versus Gunther, the storyline does start cooking in the way that Rhea and Bianca and Io is going. You probably got to have Jey versus Gunther be the main event, which is crazy because I just said like an episode or two ago that I think Jey versus Gunther shouldn't even main event. It's crazy how an opinion could just change that quickly because it's just few dang things. Now, next up, we have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. This word opinion can also change, but for right now, I'm going to have it in the 6th position. This storyline, it started off really dang smoking hot at Elimination Chamber. Then it went to Cody promo on SmackDown, then Cody promo on Raw, Cody promo on SmackDown, then Cody promo against John Cena on Raw, then Cody promo against John Cena on Raw. 2 back-to-back weeks where John Cena has not said nothing. We ain't seen The Rock come out. Cody still ain't asked John Cena why the heck he was whooping his ass at Elimination Chamber. Like, there was no point in that. I don't know why he hasn't asked him anything about that. So, well, there was a point in that, but there was no point for him to really beat him up though. If John Cena's whole thing is that he's against the crowd, why you beat up Cody for? Was he just collateral damage? So yeah, I would have loved just a lot more from this storyline. I feel like with your 2 top guys, with the passing of the torch from John Cena to Cody Rhodes, you would think that this would be like just a much better storyline going into WrestleMania. You feel like, because it's already been 5 shows now. It's been about, I want to say 4 weeks since, no, it's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks now, but it's been about 5 shows now. It's like, dude, come on, man. We need to get more from this dang storyline. We need to get something from it. You've tried doing little things in here with The Miz and all that stuff, and it's not been hitting for me. I understand that John Cena's, going against what the fans want him to do, but dude, John Cena needs to be going off on Cody. There needs to be some back and forth between these guys. It's just, no. For me, right now, I'm just not even invested in this storyline anymore. I wish they would, do a bit more with it. I wish they would have John Cena kind of go at Cody Rhodes a bit more. I'm assuming, though, John Cena is probably going to say that he doesn't even hate Cody Rhodes and that he has nothing against them and that this is all just against the fans, and Cody Rhodes kind of just in the way because he's also the guy that represents the fans, so that's why he's going at Cody. That's why he did beat up Cody, because he's taking out all his frustrations from them onto Cody, who, again, kind of symbolizes the fans in a sense. So again, I'm not mad at the storyline. I think it's been fine, but it's just not been anywhere near better than anything before it, or anything over it, in my opinion. Which the next one is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. This is number 5. John Cena and Cody Rhodes was number 6. Number 5, though, it's just, this is another one of those 4 storylines, but at least it makes somewhat sense because now you start adding in the whole thing with Roman Reigns obviously upset with CM Punk for taking him out of the dang Rumble. At least we've seen a brawl between these guys as well. That's what kind of puts this over the John Cena Cody Rhodes storyline. We just have not seen any fists be thrown between either of these guys, and we got like the whole just 5-year long promo about this guy with the whole fans and all that stuff. So yeah, no. And then the thing this past episode, the whole Summer of Punk thing they're gonna be kind of doing with him. I like it, but not the most. It was nah. But Roman, Seth, Punk, at least they've been throwing fists with each other. At least there's been some kind of build up between CM Punk and Seth. I've already said before that I would have liked this just to be a one-on-one. I don't really care for the triple threat match. There's too many multi-matches at Mania this year. I would prefer for this just to be the one-on-one between the two. Maybe have Roman go with Drew. That would have been a lot better in my opinion. Because there is better routes, that's why I have this one a lot lower than the other 4 above it. And because it kind of just feels like very last second, you just needed something for Roman to do, but you also need something for Damian and Drew to do. And you didn't want to do Roman versus Damian versus Drew, but you also don't want to have Damian not be in the card, even though you could have had Damian Priest easily be in the U.S. Championship picture, but you kind of still want to push him as like a World Heavyweight Champion, because I'm assuming if Jade does win, the World Heavyweight Championship is going to go to SmackDown, and whether John Cena or Cody wins, it's going to go on over to Raw. That's why Cody's been on Raw so much. So I'm assuming they're going to end up doing that, and that's why they want to keep Damian in like the top spot picture, so against guys like Drew McIntyre instead of being in the U.S. picture, because then when they push him back to being in like the World Heavyweight Champion position, whether it's actually getting the belt or it's going against somebody for the belt, he still looks like one of the main event guys, So I understand why they did Damian versus Drew. I would have preferred Damian either A, to not be in a match at all, or B, to be in some other big storyline and not be against Drew McIntyre, because Roman versus Drew would have just been 10 times better, especially because you were literally building up to that match as well. Now at number 4, speaking of Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. This storyline, even though I said I would prefer the other 2 storylines, or I would have preferred the other ways, Drew and Damian has actually been really dang good. Drew's been blaming Damian basically ever since last year for everything he's been doing, for cashing in on him, for the match at Clash at the Castle. Then he's blaming him for the Money in the Bank match as well. He's also blaming him now for CM Punk for John Cena going heel, because had he, just not pinned Drew McIntyre, even though it was Elimination Chamber and you gotta pin somebody, had he not pinned him, Drew could have won. Drew would have been the corporate champion. John Cena would still be a good guy, even though sorry, Drew McIntyre, it's not really how it works, but yeah, I do like the story of this. It's pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the back and forth between these guys. I like how they're both just it's been a lot of straight hands. Not the most talking, but there has been some talking there. But it's been a lot of straight hands for the most part of it. I'm assuming though this might not even happen at WrestleMania. That's my only reason why I don't have it any higher, because it feels like it's going to happen at WrestleMania. They keep talking about WrestleMania with this match. I just don't see this match going to WrestleMania unless they have like a 1v1 match before Mania and then they have like a street fight at WrestleMania. I can see that happening, but I don't know. So unless this match is 100%, and mind you, I know I said the other matches I wouldn't talk about, those matches are very big hypotheticals. This is an actual match that we have set in stone. We just don't know where the heck it's going to be happening at, but I assume it's going to be at WrestleMania. It would make it's probably going to be like at least 2 matches going into, or at least 1 match going into WrestleMania, potentially 2 matches going into WrestleMania, but yeah, no, I can't put it any higher just because of that reasoning, because I actually would put this over my number 3, which is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, just because this one, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens has been kind of, for about, since December, November now? So, my bad, I had to grab some water. But when it comes to this Randy Orton, Kevin Owens storyline, my biggest issue with it is that Randy Orton said, let's do this at WrestleMania. It's like, okay, we knew it was going to happen there, but I feel like you could have held off on that, because now I have to say, can this storyline potentially get stale? Because it's 3-4 weeks still. It feels like the storyline is already at its absolute peak. We have Randy Orton wanting to punt kick Kevin Owens. I worry that maybe it starts getting a bit stale. This is why I do like that Drew and Damian and Naomi, Jade haven't said, let's have the match at WrestleMania. Instead, what they said is, just straight hands. That's all it's really been. I wish that Randy Orton and Kevin Owens would have kind of been more straight hands as well. It does feel like a lot of these storylines going into WrestleMania are going to suffer because of the fact that WrestleMania is in the middle or really the late part of April. Had this been like April 5th, April 1st, somewhere around there, I think it would have been a lot better because then, you wouldn't have to keep stretching out a lot of these storylines, which a lot of them are going to get stretched out. And I think that's what's going to hurt WrestleMania season the most is the fact that a lot of these have to get so stretched out. Like, if you look back at like Cody Rhodes for a minute, Cody Rhodes said one promo on Friday, then went on Monday and said basically the exact same thing, plus a little extra that he could have just said on Friday. Then the following Friday, this guy has a whole thing with The Miz, says like 2 words to John Cena that he literally could have said on Monday, that he also literally could have said on Friday. But because it's so far into April, they're having to stretch it out a lot, and that's what's going to hurt this storyline and all these storylines going into WrestleMania. Number 2, though, let's go into that one, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This storyline has been absolutely phenomenal. I will say the way that they handled the whole reveal and all that stuff, you kind of were playing around with it. You probably should have been letting us know that it's Naomi just a little bit more, at least having a little more heel tactics from Naomi, or at least having some sociopathic character for Naomi when it comes to Bianca Belair. Just a bit more just overly protective of her, overly praising her, stuff like that. It would have been better if you had done that. But ever since the Naomi Bianca promo, I think it's just been fantastic. You've had Jade Cargill come out and attack Naomi, I think, upon 2 different occasions. And you had Naomi get her get back on Jade. Although, no, it was one time, right? Yeah, no, it was one time because then they had the match. It was a Jade and Liv's match, and then Naomi came out and attacked her with the caution tape and all that stuff. That was super dang funny as well because of the fact that obviously Jade would have caution tape wrapped around her, but all that stuff with the whole accident. Oh, not the accident. That definitely was not no accident. That was attempted murder. But Naomi coming out with the caution tape and all that was pretty dang cool. I did like that. So there's a lot of those little things that I really like there with the storyline, and that's why I do believe that this is the second best storyline going into WrestleMania. But number 1 is easily Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. Look it, I am not a Tiffany Stratton fan by any means. Everybody knows this by now if you've been listening to the podcast. But I will say that Tiffany Stratton has done just enough to make this storyline not have to be fully carried by Charlotte Flair, because it really is carried by Charlotte Flair in the sense of she's the veteran, she's looking at Tiffany Stratton, and she's almost a bit jealous in the sense that Tiffany is what she was, in that, Tiffany's not probably going to be that, and Tiffany's getting a lot of the love that she never got. So I do like that Tiffany Stratton is playing to that stuff that, you're not getting any love and you just want to be me and all that stuff. I really, really do like that. Then you have Charlotte Flair kind of just trying to put her in her place a bit and really put her down as much as she possibly can, because she is trying to break Tiffany Stratton so that, in a, not in a literal sense, but in the figurative sense, she quits. Because it kind of plays into the whole thing that Charlotte did with Rhea Ripley, where Charlotte beat Rhea, and there was a whole thing of Rhea Ripley was apparently depressed, and it really just made her want to quit wrestling. They're basically, if that's not a true storyline, which I mean, if that's not a true thing, I think now they're grabbing that and saying, let's do it with Charlotte and Tiffany. Let's have Charlotte just beat down Tiffany as much as she can, try to break her, and then potentially have Tiffany Stratton win at WrestleMania. Although I would be more in favor of Charlotte Flair winning, but that's just me. Overall, though, I think the story has been actually really dang good. I've loved the brawl, that past brawl they had where Tiffany hit the moonsault and all that stuff. It was really, really dang good. I think that was after the B-Fab match. So that one has been just absolutely carrying the top cards when it comes to the top card championships and all that. I've absolutely loved it. And I think overall, the stuff has been pretty good from, the road to WrestleMania. There's been some things that have been kind of just whatever, but I feel like overall, it hasn't been the worst by any means. I do worry for these next 4 weeks, though, and what could happen. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I'm hoping that all these storylines, just continue to be as good as they possibly can going into WrestleMania, so that at least when we have the matches at WrestleMania, and the matches are going to be pretty dang good, which they all should be pretty dang good matches, some of them being absolutely fantastic matches. See, I didn't say phenomenal. We switched up our F words this time. Don't switch up your F words though, please. Most people don't switch up your F words. Don't do that. But I'm really hoping that because the matches are going to be as good as they possibly can be, that maybe all of this stuff we kind of just like, you know what? It wasn't the greatest build up, but because the matches are so dang good, and when we look back on it in like 10 years, everything is just as good as it possibly can be. But with that, let's go ahead and transition on over from the WrestleMania picture to the solo tag team picture. So let's go ahead and start with the women's side of things because there is a bit less on the women. We actually only have 5 of them. We have Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. We have B-Fab and Michin, who are technically listed as a tag team. We have Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, obviously Pure Fusion Collective. We have Raquel and Liv Morgan, obviously Raquel and Liv Morgan. They ain't got a tag team. Then we got Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens, a.k.a. Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens. Once again, don't have a tag team name. But at number 5, I'm going to go with Kaden Carter. I feel like she has some potential to do some things within that singles division. I think, though, if they're really going to push her, they probably should use her indie character a lot more, which was a lot darker persona. She was using, I think, Motionless in White's theme song. I would probably lean towards that because this version of Kaden probably isn't going to get over. She is a pretty good babyface, but I don't think right now would be the best time, although I guess you could have her go against Chelsea Green if you really wanted to, but I think between Kaden and Katana, I would give it to Kaden. At number 4, I'm going to go with B-Fab. I think Michin, they kind of already seen that, she just ain't got no aura, man. And it sucks because people that are fans of Michin, like I see so many people in her Twitch streams, her TikTok comment section talking about how they wanted to get a singles run. They really love Michin so much, and they said she should have won the U.S. title. Yet none of these people are at the dang shows. All of y'all are not real fans. Y'all are internet wrestling fans, and that's about it. Y'all don't really care for her in person, and I hate it so much that y'all act like y'all are fake. B-Fab, on the other hand, has so much potential, in my opinion. I think she's somebody that really can do some big things within that single division. I've already said before that I think she has the mic work. The ring work is coming on. I feel like that match against Charlotte was a really good match. I talked about it last episode, the episode before that. So I think B-Fab has some potential. She probably have to go to NXT first, though, I feel, to really, start building up more of a character and really getting a bit more of her ring work in line so that when she does get to the main roster, she doesn't have to be carried by anybody, because she was a bit carried by Charlotte Flair. I'm not going to lie to you. But again, that's Charlotte Flair. You're going up against one of like the greats. Kind of makes sense for her to be carrying, in a sense, someone who's a bit of a rookie, to be honest. At number 3, I'm going to go with Raquel. Raquel, I could see them pulling her character that she had in NXT that got her the NXT Women's Championship. I just don't know if they're going to actually do it with Raquel, because they seem to like do this weird thing of like where they'll push Raquel, they won't push Raquel, they will push Raquel, they won't push Raquel. Raquel gets hurt, but it's not even like a major injury by any means. Then they don't bring her back for a lot of time. So I don't know what the heck they're going to do with Raquel. I'm going to be honest with you. I could see Raquel getting some kind of push. It's more likely she gets a push than B-Fab or Kaden Carter. I just don't know what that push culminates into. Maybe she's like the giant on Raw's side. But I feel like when it comes to giants, you want them to be heels. So if she does turn on Liv Morgan, or if Liv Morgan turns, like if she turns on Liv Morgan, you're going to Liv Morgan be a face? Probably not. If Liv Morgan turns on her, you're going to have Raquel be a heel? Probably not. You're gonna be pushing her toward the face. So it's like, yeah, I don't know with her. But if she could be a heel, it'd be a lot better for her. Number 2, speaking of heels, Shayna Baszler. Well, she don't wear heels, but speaking of Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, if we gave her an NXT character, which we really still can because she's already a heel, would be absolutely perfect. She was one of the best NXT champions that we have seen in NXT in a very, very, very long time. It's really her. I mean, like from her point in time, at least. It was her, it's Asuka, and it's Roxanne Perez. They're like the 3 best runs, in my opinion. Shayna Baszler is somebody that I feel like they really could do a lot. And I thought they were going to do something with her and Sonya, that they were going to have Sonya be the manager for Shayna, that they were really going to start pushing Shayna a bit more to be like this super aggressive heel. Would have actually been really cool right now to have Shayna Baszler versus Lyra Valkyria. Would have been a lot better than just doing Lyra versus Ivy and Dakota the entire time. Which, by the way, I don't have Ivy or Dakota listed here because they are both singles within their group. So, yeah. Even though Dakota Kai was working the tag team every once in a while, she's basically the single star for Damage Control. Same thing for Ivy Nile as well, so that's why I didn't list her. But, I mean, that's why I didn't list either one of them. But Shayna Baszler, I could see doing a lot of great things, especially within that mid-card division. Now that you do have the mid-card, I think this would be the perfect spot for Shayna Baszler. At number 1, though, Piper Nivens. I would love to see the world where Alba Fire turns on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. She becomes a face. She gets a U.S. belt. Then eventually we have Piper Niven and Chelsea Green kind of like just slowly break up, or we have Chelsea Green be Piper Niven's manager, and then we have Piper Niven eventually gets the United States belt, because I would love to see her as a heel. I think she could be like Nia Jax 2.0, where she could just go and dominate the entire division, whether it be as a U.S. champion or even be as a WWE Women's Champion. I could see very, very, very big things, though, from Piper Niven. I loved her feud last year with, what was that, Bayley? Yeah, that was Bayley. I was going to say Becky Lynch, but no, that was Bayley, because it was that Clash at the Castle, and they had an absolutely fantastic match. Look at that, we're using that F word again. She had an absolutely fantastic match. I was hoping that she would get more of a push the rest of the year, but sadly she didn't even really get tag belts, didn't get the U.S. belt. Sadly, Chelsea got it. I'm not the biggest fan of Chelsea Green. I wish Piper Niven would have got it over Chelsea, in my opinion. But I'm still hoping that maybe Piper Niven can be like Nia Jax 2.0. Now, on the men's side of things, before I do say the 7 teams that I do have, I took out a bunch of teams. I took out Pretty Deadly because I don't think either one of them are going to actually be good separate. I took out the Wyatt Six because I feel like they all need each other. Jacob and Dragon Lee are already kind of getting pushed as solo stars, so it doesn't really make any sense. And Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are probably way past their primes to be solo stars. I feel like they're probably needed a lot more for the mid-card division than they are to be solo guys. So, at number 7, I have Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods is probably someone that's also past him getting a solo push. But I could see the world, unlike Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, where Xavier Woods turns on Kofi Kingston fully. Or we have Kofi Kingston, turn on Xavier Woods. He goes back to being a face. Then we have Xavier Woods be a heel. I could see a world where that happens. I just don't think solo championships will be happening for him. There's a world where he can get like an IC belt or US belt, but I just don't see it happening for Xavier Woods. I think we're past that point. The time we really would have got that was when he was like King Xavier. But sadly, we kind of pushed him against Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns stole his dang crown. So, yeah, no, we're kind of way, way past Xavier Woods. Another guy I feel like we're really past as well is number 6, Ivar. Ivar is somebody that I feel like during the... What was that? Because he had a match with Kofi Kingston. I want to say it was like 2021, 2022. That was a time where I really felt like Ivar was coming on as a wrestler. A lot of fans were really excited about the potential of Ivar. Then he ended up getting hurt, which really sucks because I think he was going to start actually breaking out as a solo star around that time. I think now, because the War Raiders just have had like a very mid-run, to say the least, they've had great matches against Finn Balor and Jade McDonough and against, what was their names? The Creed brothers. They've had great matches, but I feel like people just aren't really invested in them as much. And I feel like Ivar just would not get the push that we think he could get. Although I would love to see him get like some kind of big push within that mid-card spot, because he is such a phenomenal wrestler, man. This guy is one of the best ones on the roster. Speaking of great wrestlers, number 5, Humberto. I would have loved to see Humberto get a push. He was starting to get a bit of a singles push back in 2019, 2020. And then again when he came up with Angel Garza back in 2021, 2022. It might have actually been 2019 with Andrade. Then 2021 when he was with Angel Garza, that's when he started getting like a bit of a push again. No, my bad. No, it was 2019. Yeah, because he had a United States Championship match against, I forgot who the heck he had it against. But yeah, no, it was 2019 that he started getting a bit of a push. So I think another guy that we're probably way past that time on, although I feel like Humberto could at least do some things. He's pretty good on the mic. He does have a whole lot of charisma. His character work when he was with Angel Garza and they were Los Lotarios, I think. They might have been Los Lotarios at that time. They were really, 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 really good. Oh, no, wait, was it? No, it was Los Lotarios. Yeah, it was. They were really, really good at that time when they were that tag team and they're kind of just going around swooing all the women. I really, really loved that version of them. So there is a world where Humberto could actually be a mid-card guy, maybe get like a belt or two, but I think we might be just a little bit past it, but not but not anywhere like Ivar or Xavier Woods by any means. At number 4, I'm gonna go with Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa, I feel like, is so loved by Triple H that if he really, really wanted to, I feel like he can make Tommaso Ciampa a mid-card star. His heel work is some of the best heel work. His character work is really dang good. His mic work is really good. His wrestling is absolutely phenomenal. I would love to see Tommaso Ciampa be a guy in that mid-card spot that eventually goes after an LA Knight. Maybe him and Johnny Gargano do break up. They have that big old match between each other. Then we start pushing Tommaso Ciampa in that mid-card spot. Heck, I could even see him being in like the world championship scene. Not a guy getting the belt, but at least giving one of the world champion guys a pretty good storyline going into like a PLE. It won't be anything too long, but like a month or something like that. But I could see Tommaso Ciampa doing some big things. So he's a guy that I have a lot of hope for that he still gets some kind of run. The only issue is he is up there in age now, so I don't know how long of a run that would be. And it probably have to happen sometime soon because he already is like 39, 40 years old. So, yeah. Now, number 3, I have Julius Creed. I think there's a reason why Chad Gable is with with the Creed brothers, other than just being similar to them. He's mentoring both of them for sure, because Julius Creed is somebody that I feel could be what Chad Gable was supposed to be. He's 6'3", he has the size, he has the athleticism, his mic work definitely needs to be worked on, but I could see Chad Gable potentially being his manager. I could see Brutus Creed also being a guy as well, but I think I like Julius Creed just a bit more. He's really good, man. I want to see a singles push for this guy, and I think Julius Creed should get that push sometime soon. We should not drop the ball like we have with other tag teams. 2 of them are going to be mentioning real soon, but we should not drop the ball with Julius Creed or Brutus Creed. I think they both should get their solo runs. As you continue getting their tag runs, though, allow them to really get a big thing going with American Made, and then potentially having Julius Creed break away from the group, because it feels like Brutus Creed does play the heel really well. Julius Creed, on the other hand, good, but it also kind of feels forced. I feel like in the face role, he might do a lot better. And I think he really could be like that Kurt Angle number 2 if he is able to get his mic work going, and if we do give him that big push that I believe he should get. Now, at number 2, Austin Theory. I have so little faith in Austin Theory, but I also, from an unbiased standpoint, I see why so many people believe in Austin Theory. My issue with them is this, though. Austin Theory is a tie to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, because of how disgusting of a human being he is, has probably ruined any kind of potential for Austin Theory. This is why I have very little hope for Austin Theory. But I would say this, that Austin Theory's selfie gimmick run was one of my favorite runs from a champion during the 2020s to now. He showed absolutely amazing character work. His mic work looked really good. In ring, he's not that bad. He is pretty good. So I would like to see a bit more from them in Austin Theory, or at least let the guy go if you're not going to use him. If you're going to continue to just keep having him in this tag team and kind of just keep having him suffer for the whole Vince McMahon connection, then just let the guy go. Let him be able to go to the Indies. Let him be able to go to TNA or Ring of Honor or AEW or wherever the heck the guy decides to go, and allow him just to really just build himself up into a potential star, get away from the whole Vince McMahon name, maybe even changes his name up. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't just change his name. That would have been so much better, and then just had him be away for a while. Because then you type in a new name and you don't find the whole Vince McMahon stuff. Obviously, there's still you still could find it. It just wouldn't be as easy to find. I think maybe he should do that and then go on the indie, go on the indies first and then change your name. That would probably help him out a lot. Number 1, though, is the easiest one. It's Montez Ford. This guy should have been a single star so long ago. This guy has every single dang thing to be a single star. Everything that Jey Uso has, I've always felt like Montez Ford has and more. I don't know why he's never gotten that push. I feel like it's just been a slap in the face to Montez Ford. Heck, I'm going to be real with you. I could also put Angelo Dawkins here. Both of these guys have everything just to be stars, and it just feels like neither one of these guys is getting the singles push that they deserve. I hope one day that Montez Ford does get that singles push, because I really want to see him get some kind of, U.S. gold around him, intercontinental gold around him, and potentially even get an undisputed WWE championship or a World Heavyweight championship. Maybe we can also change the dang name of the undisputed championship, because I absolutely hate the dang name. But I would have loved to see something from Montez Ford. I think he just has star written all over him. Everybody loves the dude. I don't know one person that actually hates Montez Ford, and I think everybody wants to see this guy get pushed by now. It should have happened. I don't know when the heck it's going to happen, and if it never does happen, I'm going to be real with you, this would be the biggest fumble that WWE's had in a very, very long time. So, yeah, Montez Ford is my number 1 guy that should break away from a tag team. And my number 1 woman is Piper Niven. I feel like both of these two could be just stars within their division. I don't know if Piper Niven would ever get the World Championship or the WWE Women's Championship. I think we would have to see a very big growth in her character. But if she did, I think she could get those the same way I do think that if we allowed Montez Ford loose, if we let him loose, that this guy could just run the dang company. This guy is somebody that I truly believe could be the face of the company. So, yeah. But let's go ahead and jump on in to a few more topics that we do have, including one, Swerve Strickland's recent comments on WWE. All right, so Swerve Strickland has been kind of making a few rounds. He was on Vlad's show. He was on another show talking about how he felt like he was basically bullshitted by WWE. Now, here's the whole story with Swerve Strickland. Let's just paint this whole picture, okay? He got signed, and I want to say that was 2019 to WWE. It might have been 2020. No, it was 2019. No, it was 2018 because he was just leaving MLW and Lucha Underground. Now, around this time, he was a super dang big name, one of the biggest free agents. Well, he ends up getting a contact from WWE. They wanted to come in for a tryout and all that stuff. But then Triple H says, why have the tryout? We know who he is. Let's just sign him, right? Okay, cool. So he gets signed. Then he's told by Triple H, well, I want you to be with these guys named Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, and B-Fab. You guys are going to be known as Hit Row. Well, they already had their group. I don't think it was Hit Row at the time, but it might have got changed to Hit Row. So he had got signed to this group. Now, at first, Swerve Strickland was against this. He's like, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to be, basically helping some guys out. I want to be a star and all that stuff. And Triple H tells him, no, don't worry. You're going to be a star. You're going to be one of the top guys. Well, when it came to NXT, they definitely were a big thing. And, Swerve Strickland was doing really good stuff there. He was a North American champion and all that stuff. But then when it came to the main roster, here's where all the BS started to happen. Hit Row were facing a bunch of jobbers. I don't even think Swerve Strickland ever actually had a match on the main card. Although I could be wrong, but I think it actually might have just been Ashante the Adonis and Top Dollar that Vince was really, really, really trying to push around this time and just didn't care for the North American champion, Swerve Strickland. So, yeah, I don't think B-Fab actually had a match. They would just face a bunch of jobbers. They would go out and put on a whole little song and all that stuff and be like, Hero, which it was actually pretty catchy, I'm not going to lie to you. But they just put on like a show and all that stuff, and they just didn't really do much with them. Now, here's where things start getting a little funky because not only was Swerve Strickland already starting to do some stuff with the Cruiserweight division where he was facing up against Drew Gulak and he only put on a phenomenal match and everybody in the backstage was all hyping up the match and all that stuff. Well, when he got down to perform, when he got back on over to NXT, they were telling him that they wanted him to go do all the basics and all that stuff, and he was like, bro, I don't want to do the basics. I'm not about to do the basics. Now, I think this might have actually happened after B-Fab got released because it sounds like a bit better timeline-wise. It's odd because he didn't really tell the timelines for all this stuff, but I would assume that this happened after the B-Fab release, which, by the way, the B-Fab release, they didn't even get told about it. Swerve, Ashante, or Top Dollar did not get told. It wasn't until they actually found out online because Swerve said that Top Dollar called WWE. WWE told them that B-Fab's plane, that B-Fab wasn't needed for SmackDown. That's why her plane ticket had issues and all that stuff. They basically rescinded her plane ticket. Then when they got Wi-Fi on the plane, they find out that B-Fab's been released. I don't even know if they told her that she's been released. I would assume that they have to though, but who the heck knows? So they kind of found out then, and Swerve Strickland was already upset with the fact that he felt like they were kind of just BSing them. And then I think that's when this started happening as well with the Drew Gulak, with the match stuff and going down to Performance Center and doing all the basic stuff and all that because it was like a couple weeks after B-Fab got released that every one of them also got released as well. And I'm going to say this right now. I completely understand Swerve Strickland feeling like he was bullshitted because from somebody that's played collegiate ball, I played for my junior college. Obviously, I didn't play D1 or anything like that, but I remember we had a game one time where we just blew somebody out. It was by 70 points. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was a really bad blowout. Everybody the next day was forced to go do the basics, basic dribbling and all that stuff. And we were all just why? Why do we have to do the basics? Did you not just see what we did to this team? So it's for Swerve Strickland, I understand in a sense, why are you telling me to go do the basics when you know where I come from? You know that I can do all this stuff. I just put on an 18, 19, 20-minute match and the whole crowd was loving it. This is a crowd of 6,000 people. You want me to come down here and, do all the basics and stuff like that? And it's also just a thing of why was Swerve Strickland not getting a push? If you knew what you had in Swerve Strickland, why did Triple H not try to keep him around at least NXT to do some things with the NXT to allow him to become more of a star? I don't really understand that. It's very, very odd to me. The people that are saying that Swerve Strickland should have been, listening and all that stuff, I don't think you understand that Swerve Strickland already had so much independent success before this. So why should he really have to go back and do a lot of these basic things? Why should he get screwed over by Triple H, who told him that he was going to be a big star? Why should he get screwed over by Vince? Why should he continue to allow himself to get screwed over by people and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be okay with being screwed over because whatever. Like, no, he shouldn't be okay with this by any means, and he should have every single, right to feel a bit upset with WWE and how they did them. But like he's also said as well that he doesn't harbor any, like, ill will towards WWE. I'm still going to call BS, though, that I think this guy does harbor ill will when it comes to, folks talking about how he didn't earn the money that he had got from Tony Khan and all that. He said he ain't harboring no ill will. I 1,000% call him BS, because if somebody told me that I didn't earn the money that I got, I'm like, why are you in my why are you in my business? Why are you in my pocket? So I'm not gonna probably hate you, but I am gonna be like, kind of like how does Ricochet do it? Be laughing in your face and all that stuff. So yeah, no, I don't understand why like anyone's upset by this. I think it's really just because this guy's in AEW, because had he gone back to WWE and he said these things about Vince McMahon, or had he said Vince McMahon's name, I feel like a lot more people would not really care. But because he is in AEW, and because he probably didn't say Vince's name, people probably think he's talking about Triple H, when in reality, he's talking about Vince. Every single person that has said anything bad about WWE has been talking about Vince. I think the only ones that actually said bad things were Will Ospreay and MVP in them. So yeah, but with Swerve Strickland, I find this thing just, I do find it to be kind of BS, especially because like it felt like kind of like just that whole 205 Live roster got kind of screwed over in a sense, because they were all doing really, really amazing things. So the fact that they didn't get the push that they probably should have gotten, they didn't get the respect they probably should have gotten, it really is just a slap in the face of that entire roster, and I 100% understand why Swerve Strickland would feel upset. Now, going from Swerve Strickland on over to another big AEW star, Miss Mariah May is reportedly, by Fightful, is reportedly in her contract year. If this is true, Tony Khan, you mark. This is complete BS. This is completely stupid. I'm about to, oh my gosh. Those are the last two cuss words I'm going to say, because I'm going to try to keep myself calm now. This is so stupid. This woman, Mariah May, had one of the greatest freaking storylines, if not the greatest dang storyline with Tony Storm of all dang time in wrestling. She's only 25 years old. She's an absolute megastar right now. Why would you not give her the money she deserves? Why the heck would you not pay her last year when you paid Swerve Strickland when he was coming up on his contract year, and you paid MJF? But did you not also learn from MJF as well, though? Because when MJF was in the contract year, he ain't really want to do much. He said, I'm not going to go to all these little Papa Stoves and all this dang things, and no, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to cuss you out. Why would you not learn from your mistakes? Mariah May is a rising star, and I hate that Tony Khan keeps doing this when it comes to the rising stars, but he's so quick and willing to give all these dang WWE guys the bag. He gave Mercedes Moné the bag. I love Mercedes Moné. He gave Hurt Syndicate the bag. I love Hurt Syndicate. He gave Chris Jericho the bag. Gave Jon Moxley the bag. Gave who am I thinking of? Somebody else from WWE. I'm blanking on their names. Whatever. Blanking on their names. He gave all these ex-WWE guys the bag. But he will not give his own guys the bag when it mattered, when they need to be given the bag. Mariah May should have been paid last year. This is an absolute slap in the face to her. And it also just feels like you're kind of saying women need to work twice as hard to get the pay that the other ones get. Because Swerve Strickland got his dang contract before his contract year, but Mariah May couldn't get her contract before her contract year. It's so freaking stupid. Mariah May deserves every single dollar that she's going to be getting. And now she's apparently in talks with WWE executives, which really, really sucks, because if she goes to WWE, I'm going to be so pissed, man. I'm going to be so pissed. This is one of your futures. I understand you have Billy Starks right there. I understand you have Chris Statlander right there. I understand you have Megan Bang right there. Let me tell you right now, none of these women are Mariah May. Mariah May might literally be the best women's wrestler on the dang planet right now. I love Toni Storm, and I've said Toni Storm is the best women's wrestler right now. When it comes to just the all-around stuff, I think Mariah May is there for her with bar for bar on the mic, bar for bar with the character work, bar for bar with the charisma. I think she clears Toni Storm in terms of ring work, and I think she clears every other dang woman on this dang planet when it comes to ring work Why, Tony Khan, would you not give her the money that she deserves? Why would you even allow this woman to go talk to WWE executives? Why would you even think that's a smart thing? Because you know they probably got a lot more money than you do, and they could pay Mariah May a lot more money than you can do, and they also could put her on a much bigger platform than you can. So why the heck would you do that? Especially when you know that Mariah May loves WWE. Why would you even give her the chance to sniff the WWE headquarters, to even potentially sniff a WWE ring? I hate it so dang much. This guy, Tony Khan, sometimes is a freaking idiot. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm just going to be honest. The stuff with the Vault stuff I've talked about before with the Ring of Honor Vault. The stuff with your Max deal with AEW, it's just so many dumb things. Why would you let this happen? You let so many people walk. You let Ethan Page walk, and as much as I think that Ethan Page has, he didn't show much in AEW, you could have at least allowed the guy to show you something solo-wise. Ricky Saints, you probably should have pushed him a bit more, I'm not going to lie to you. But Mariah May, dude, like, there's just an easy thing there to do with Mariah May. You just signed Mina Shirakawa. You better sign Mariah May, because you can run a dang tag team. They could be called Rose Gold. They could be your inaugural tag team champions. You could push them for about an entire year with the tag belts, or at least push them for like 6 months with the tag belts, then start putting Mariah May back into some big pictures. You better do something with Mariah May, though, because my goodness, if you don't, I'm going to be super dang upset. There's also the potential that you might even lose Mercedes Moné soon, because her contract ends next year. Mercedes Moné, I hope she resigns as well, but who the heck knows? The women's division for AEW looks so good right now with Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm, Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa now added to it, Julia Hart, Queen Aminata, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Megan Bayne. You have Serena Deeb still there doing the thing. You got Jamie Hayter still there doing the thing. You got Thunder Rosa still there doing the thing. You got Billy Baker. You have Billy Starks coming up soon. You have Athena coming up soon. But then again, I'm not even surprised that Mariah May is getting over by Tony Khan, because the same thing's been happening to Athena for so dang long now, with the fact that Athena has not been on the main roster as a freaking champion. You could have showed her off. You could have had her beating some of your women on the main roster, but you don't want to do that. But you allowed Mark Briscoe to come to the main roster, but you don't allow Athena. I don't get it at all. You did bring some stars down from AEW to Ring of Honor to have her face them, but man, oh man, why did you not ever have Athena go up to the main roster? I do not get it at all. You could have had her in some like casino gauntlet matches. You could have had her in some battle royale matches. Maybe she's losing the matches, but she loses it in like a proper way, where like multiple women take her out because they realize how big of a star she is. I do not get this with Tony Khan, and it also just makes me now look at the fact that Tony Storm and Mariah May didn't get to main event Revolution, and it makes me even more sick, because it's like, were you not allowing them in this main event because of Mariah May? Maybe Mariah May wants to get more money out of you than you want to give her. Is that the case there? Is that what we're doing, Tony Khan? This is so dang stupid. I'm going to be real with you. If Mariah May leaves, I wouldn't even be mad at her, because I would understand it. You're being slapped in the face by your boss, who's willing to pay everybody else, to pay all these ex-WWE stars, but won't pay you. This is what's going to cause AEW to suffer so dang much, is Tony Khan is going to be more invested in other people's stars than he is going to be in his own stars. It's just, oh my gosh, man. It's so stupid, because Mariah May is going to go to WWE. She's going to be an absolute freaking star. She could be the champion of any position right now. I would have her over Io. I would have her over Rhea. I'd have her over Bianca. I'd have her over over Tiffany Stratton. I'd have her over Charlotte. I would have her over Stephanie. I would have her over Stephanie 2 times, because he's both champions. I would have her over any position right now, because that's how good Mariah May actually is. I think she clears every one of these women when it comes to every single thing. Io Sky, I think she's better in ring wise. But she doesn't have the language barrier that Io Sky has. So that's why I would put her over Io Sky. I think she has much better character work than Bianca Belair. I think she's a much better character worker and mic worker and ring worker than Rhea Ripley. She is literally just what they want Tiffany Stratton to be. So once they sign Mariah May, they might let go of Tiffany Stratton. That would suck. What is Tony Khan going to say? Hey, Tiffany Stratton, you want to come on over to AEW? This idiot, man. Oh my gosh, dude. I really hope that AEW does not lose Mariah May. I mean, it won't be bad for me, because I watch WWE and I watch AEW. I just would not want to see her be gone. I really wouldn't. Like, the only way I could see her being like just let go is if she did some crazy stuff at AEW. And even this, like, buddy, let's talk about how crazy this stuff actually was, okay? And was it actually crazy, or are we just kind of capping here? But let's go ahead and end that rant there, jumping on into this last topic of who is more likely to break a record, Athena with a 1,000-day reign, or is it going to be Mercedes Moné breaking Jade Cargill's record? So when it comes to Athena and Mercedes Moné, Athena is currently at 837 days, and she needs 163 days to get 1,000 days. That would be September 10th, and it falls on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that. That could be the way you usher her into the main roster, is that on that 163rd day, you have her appear on AEW Dynamite, and she just gets a big old coronation for getting 1,000 days. And then people are like, whoa, wait, hold on, 1,000 days as champion, you must be a really dang star. And that kind of makes her star power much bigger. For Mercedes Moné, on the other hand, she needs 205 days because Jade Cargill held it for 508 days. That would go all the way until October 22nd. She could also get a big coronation as well because that is on a Wednesday. So there is a world where I could see both of them potentially holding those belts until those days. I just think that Mercedes Moné is more likely to dethrone Athena at Dynasty because it seems like they are pushing that match. I'm pretty sure on tonight's Dynamite, we're probably going to get some stuff between those two, which means that obviously Athena would not be the Ring of Honor champion anymore, so she wouldn't be able to get to 1,000 days. Mercedes Moné, on the other hand, my only worry would be is that, do you really want her to hold it for an entire year and a half? I mean, are you not stifling your TBS division? It kind of already looks like you are a bit. You really don't have much direction for Chris Statlander, Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale. And that's something that AEW definitely does struggle in, is the fact that they don't have direction for a lot of their wrestlers once they do kind of peak. So I would be confused as to what's going to happen with the rest of your division. Here's the other thing as well. If you're trying to have Mercedes Moné get the record so that Jade Cargill's not holding the record anymore, isn't Mercedes Moné going to be like Jade Cargill and go back to WWE? Because what does she do after she's done with AEW? Like, after she loses the TBS championship, does she eventually get the AEW Women's World Championship? I mean, it's very possible, but it's also possible she goes back to the WWE because her contract ends up next year. She's only 34, I think, or 33 right now. So by the time of next year, she's probably like at the latest, like 35. She would still have about 4 or 5 more years to at least do some big things in WWE. They could potentially have the 4 Horsewomen's match in WWE if they wanted to do that. So I don't think you would want to have Mercedes Moné be breaking Jade Cargill's record if she's going to be leaving AEW the same way Jade Cargill left AEW. So yeah, I also don't think you want either one of these records to go that well. No. You don't want Mercedes to go that long because you're stifling your division. For Athena, you don't want it to go that long because you want her to get on the main roster soon. Right? Like you want her to be the one to potentially dethroning Toni Storm, because we don't need Toni Storm to have a year-long run. She already basically had a year-long run. It's like 11 months. She doesn't need a year-long run. I think Athena should get that belt from Toni Storm, and then she should be allowed to do like her mains and training gimmick on the main roster. So if I went with anybody, I'm going to go with Mercedes Moné is more likely to break it, only because I feel like Athena should probably not break it, because I feel like she should actually lose the belt by Dynasty and then go on to dethrone Toni Storm. I would rather see that happen. I think the 1,000 days is cool and all that stuff, but if she doesn't get it, she doesn't get it. It's fine. I don't think the 1,000 days is that big of a thing. Well, it is that big of a thing because there's very few wrestlers who have actually held the belt for 1,000 days. And you know what? Dang, Athena would be like the first black wrestler to hold it for 1,000 days, I think. At least within like a major professional wrestling company. So a major professional wrestling company. Oh man, when you add that in, now I really, really want Athena to be the one to do it. And I think she'd be like the first woman as well. Okay, you know what? My heart wants me to have Athena get it now. I'm going to go with Mercedes Moné, though. I think Mercedes Moné is more likely to break that record and eventually drop it to somebody, because then you could drop it to like a Mariah May. Like, let's say the inaugural tag team champions happens at Double or Nothing, and they hold the belts all the way until like September, October. And let's say Mercedes Moné, say until like early September, they lose the belt, and then Mercedes Moné gets her big old coronation, and here comes Mariah May to, crash her party, and then we have Mariah May get pushed into that TBS title scene, and then she gets all the TBS title. That would be some, pretty big direction for Mariah May, at least because, what do you do with her at the tag teams? You want to put her into one of the 2 top belts, whether it be the AEW Women's World Championship or it be the TBS Championship. So I would love to see that world where Mercedes Moné does hold it, and then Mariah May is able to dethrone her. Maybe she even gets all 5 belts, or she just, it's like I win a TBS belt, you have to drop every other belt kind of thing. And then Mercedes Moné takes like a few months off because she has been going all around the world defending all those dang belts. So she could take a few months off, or heck, maybe she even drops on the TBS belt and then just goes and works like the indies for a while, comes back and gets the AEW Women's World Championship before she does go off to WWE. But I'm going to say that Mercedes Moné is the one who's more likely to hold the belt because I do believe Athena should lose that belt sometime soon. I think she's kind of just running out of competition at this point. She's faced Diamante, like 4 or 5 times now. We're probably done with that. And we're also done with this episode because I definitely hope y'all did enjoy this episode. As always, no matter where you're listening to it at, any way you can help the channel out, likes, follows, ratings, subs, shares, all that good stuff. But for now, y'all, that's it. I'm out. Peace. Have a great day, everybody. Bye. And good night. Bang.